Hello, brothers and sisters. The title of the message today is Being Led by the Hand of the Lord. Number 5, the marriage during the time of conflict. I had to study and work day and night. After I took the last exam, I said to myself, now it's time of freedom. But at the same time, I felt something was lacking. There is no better life than the college life if there is no exam. In order to deliver a lecture, professors must study several hours. But for students, all they have to do is just listen. How wonderful it is. I had a thought, suppose there were any exam, I wish I could attend college all through my life. But in fact, I did not have enough time to study. Exams were headaches. I barely graduated from college. I was preparing to work with a lighthearted, but one day the lightning and thunder hit my life. It was beyond my imagination. I forgot completely then, but during the summer vacation, I received one telegram. The message was the sermon from the Central Committee of our denomination, which was the highest organization. I attended at that conference. There were 2 senior pastors and superintendent of our denomination, and the atmosphere was somewhat serious. As soon as I sat down, one of the pastors said, with the attitude of blaming me, "Did you say that? The sexual relationship between marriage is not a sin?" I answered, "I didn't say that. The dean of our theological college and the one who holds the greatest power in our denomination, Reverend An, shouted out loud, saying, 'Why do you try to make excuses?' His face turned red with anger. I was really at a loss. I suddenly became cold-hearted and said, 'Do as you wish.' The words popped out of my mouth. I really didn't understand the reason why. I should have said, 'What's the reason? Please tell me in detail, sir.' But because of the awkward atmosphere, I couldn't communicate well enough. Reverend An, the dean of our theological college, was a very strict man, but his lecture was outstanding. I respected him a lot and wanted to give lecture just like him. He loved me and helped me, and he spread his hand of grace and approval over me. I have never imagined that we could be involved in such kind of great conflict. He was just like my father. He was just like the spiritual pillar in our denomination, center of our theological college, and the denomination itself was himself. I felt as if the car I was riding was bumped against something so suddenly and abruptly. I still don't understand why. As I entered into that room, I felt, they're trying to kick me out. I abruptly uttered a few words and came out of that room. Reverend An was shouting at me at the back, "What do you think you are? Why are you trying to shake this denomination?" I rushed out of that place as if I was determined person. This became the worst and tragic thing in the history of that denomination. As we were separated, both of us left the denomination. It was a fatal accident for both of us. I was only 31 years old. I thought I knew everything about the world. I thought I had studied a lot more than other people. And I thought as if I knew all about life. I just studied theology for 2 years, but I thought I knew everything about life, and I thought I was a leader already. As the dean dispatched me to a church, I thought I was a capable man who could judge everything alone and teach other people. That was my mistake. The ministry is not an easy matter. Everything is human issues, most difficult issue of all. I thought I was doing all right, but something beyond my imagination took place. As I grew up under my old father, I didn't feel the distance between me and old people, so I thought I was serving leaders of our denomination well enough. But suddenly one day, something beyond my imagination took place, like the thunder and lightning. I was facing leadership of our denomination as if I was ready to fight against them. I rebelled against them with harsh words and dumbfounded attitude. As I look back, I still think it's so dubious. I regret. Of course, it's useless to regret, but later I received a better gift from God anyway. But as I look back, I compare my past and my present time. I look back pretty often. I did not know anything, why such thing suddenly happened. They just shouted out loud and I couldn't deal with those problems more wisely. I should have said, Pastor, what do you mean by that? Please tell me more in detail. Or I have nothing to say now. Please give me some time. Or if I made a mistake, I will try to fix it. I should have answered with calm mind, in a relaxed attitude. It could have been much better. But why did I respond as if I was playing ping pong games so rapidly? As the atmosphere was so warlike, I had no room to think leisurely. As I look back, I could have a lot to say, but so abruptly I said, I didn't say that. But Reverend An shouted out loud, why are you trying to make excuses? And I answered him right away, whatever you like to do, go ahead. I rushed out of that room. It was ridiculous. Just 3 words back and forth, just like a ping pong game. It didn't take more than 1 minute. In front of the leaders over 70 years old, seniors, why did the novice young man, a little over 30 years old man, just jump to the conclusion and closed up my mind? I did not know anything, standing on the standing point of a man who doesn't know anything. Quietly, I should have asked why. Maybe seniors could calm down, but judge it too quickly and not to continue communication. I closed the door abruptly. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1. But I was pouring oil to the burning furnace. They already made a decision and called me, so I wondered I could calm those leaders, but I was responding too abruptly anyway. Even today, such kind of thing causes problems without listening to other people's words carefully, just jumping to the conclusion in a foolish thing. I make that kind of mistakes even these days. It is very basic that we listen to other people's words carefully and in a prudent way. We already know that, but we sometimes have a hot temper. I look back, I think I could have solved the problem with enough communication, but it was inevitable for me. My dimension was too shallow. I couldn't help it. If I continued to make that kind of mistakes, I could have committed same regretful mistakes. That was my weak points, and it will follow me the rest of my life. I was too young to control myself well enough. I always envy those people who listen to other people's words carefully and in a prudent way. Maybe I'm dull, but if we talk slowly and give answers later, it would be much better. Why people hurriedly give answers? Some exams we have to decide quickly, or some other times we have to think about it slowly. If we decide too quickly, we always regret. That night, leaders called deacons in our church to a certain place in downtown and told them to kick me out of the church because they erased my name from the name list of our denomination. But the real problem was started. Male deacons said that we cannot do that. Our evangelist did nothing wrong, but why are you saying we have to drive me out of our church? Thus, 4 years of strange war was started right there. There is Korean saying, I trusted the axe, but the axe stabbed my foot. I respected him and trusted him, and he also loved me and trusted me, but we don't know why he felt the crisis, and I was embarrassed, and I tried to defend myself. I committed a mistake unconsciously. Things became so serious, abrupt, and urgent. Leaders tried to use all kinds of methods in order to cast me out of the denomination. I and our church members tried to defend ourselves using all kinds of methods. In any denomination, if such thing happened, opposition party and ruling party are divided, and both parties fight like politicians. Young people supported me, and older generation people supported another group. The Cold War continued on for 2 years, and the General Secretary, Mr. HyunRaiLee's, set up a plan. He decided to vote in a general conference and voted pro and con, but our team got one more vote, and superintendent suddenly stood up and said, I'll quit. And the finance department chief said, I'll quit also. Powerful people rejected the result of the vote, so atmosphere became all messy. It was the reality of the denomination. They no more try to control our church, but we are excluded from the denomination. Both parties kept quiet, but the war was not over yet. Their words were short that day, but the influence was so great. The starting point of the incident were from both parties. They were just 4 short statements. Did you say that? No, I didn't say that. Why are you trying to make excuses? Do as you like. It didn't take 1 minute. But the fighting lasted for 4 years and not only exposed the various kinds of embarrassing personal facts, but also the denomination was divided and so many people received the damages and scars. I occasionally think about the past and regret. Words may be easy, but the work can be difficult. It is true that the words are so easy, but the work is always difficult. Well, I could have experienced the greater hardship because I cannot talk slowly and distinctly. I often say to myself, suppose I thought about it for 1 more day and talked. It could have been much, much better. Why did I have to say directly and instantly? I could have thought about it, take a rest, and could have walked slowly. Today and tomorrow, they're actually the same. I Subtitle number 5, I got married during the time of conflict. I got married during the time of conflict, and I got my first daughter. Her name is Eunhae, which means grace. When I was a single man, 34 years old, and I was an evangelist at a church, people thought it was embarrassing for them. I was not interested in marriage then, but they thought maybe right. I was old enough to get married, but I was busy studying. I could not think about anything else, but after graduation, people tried to hurry up to help me to get married. As I had such poor health, I could not even worry about my own marriage. When can I get married? What should I do if I cannot get married? What should I do if my marriage gets too late? Most of my friends got married, and my friend Young Song Kim got married as the last one. I participated in his wedding, but I could not think about my own marriage. I thought about marriage like a story from a distant country so far away. And I thought it was just other people's story, but not my own story, seriously. People around me worried about my marriage quietly. One time I met a lady as Reverend Sung Woo Jung, used to be a deacon, introduced me a lady. It was my first experience. She was a sister of the dean of a certain theological college. She majored English at a college, and she was working at her brother's office as a secretary. I met her at a coffee shop, and her impression was pretty dark. I told Deacon Chung that she was not my kind. He said, "She's not dark." And that was it. As I look back, the coffee shop was too dark, and she was wearing dark green suit. Maybe that's why. And one more thing, my heart was not ready. I suddenly received the introduction. I just could not refuse. I just went out with unwilling heart. Maybe that was the main reason. During the summer season that year, Reverend Hong Mo Kim said, "I think you should get married. I can introduce a young lady." He returned to Korea from America, and working at a certain denomination, brought me a picture of a lady. He worried about another year would pass by without getting married. 2 months passed by, and I did not hear from him. Deacon Jong Jin Kim, who used to attend a church in my hometown, Wando, he wanted to introduce one lady to me in Gwangju, Cheonnam Province. She was the oldest daughter of a pastor in Gwangju. She majored piano in college, and she was giving piano lessons to students. As Reverend Kim did not give any notice, so I made an appointment with that lady in Gwangju. But just one day before I went out to Gwangju, Reverend Hong Mo Kim came to me and said that I had to meet the lady. I could not say I was supposed to go down to Gwangju and met the lady first time, and she happens to be my present wife. She put on pink suit, and she was smiling continually. I asked her, "Why did you appear so late?" She said, "I received a picture of you, prayed to God, and waited for the answer. And just recently, God answered my prayer. I got the assurance. That's why I came up to Seoul today." At that time, I know I have to get married. But because I had the lowest condition, I could not respond in an aggressive way. I was just pulled by the people around me. I even could not pray to God. But if people urged me to meet ladies, I just unwillingly met ladies. But she said she prayed for that man in the photo for a long time. I had nothing to say. I had a feeling as if I met a firm rock. That was my thinking that quickly passed by. I had never prayed for that. But before the lady who said that she prayed and made a decision, what could I say? Anything. I was the Lord's servant before God's will. I could not say no. I became tongue-tied. I don't remember what she said. But the only words that I remember was, I prayed and I am already determined. But I couldn't reply either, well, it is God's will, let's get married right away. I did not reply definitely like that. And I left that place. I was preparing to go down to Gwangju. I did not pray at all. I just wrote a letter to my friend, Reverend Chung, who is a pastor in Muan area, telling I would drop by at his church, and went down to Gwangju. My mind was not ready yet. I just obeyed other people's suggestion. If they told me to meet, I just met. If they told me to go, I just went. That's all. Because my condition was the worst one, and I was fighting against other people in my denomination during those days. It was the days of conflict. Thank you. Hallelujah. May God bless every one of you. Thank you. Thank you again.